Hey everyone, Chef Jason Hill here, and I'm back down with my friend Brian, and we are going to be cooking on his big green egg. So what are we doing?
All right, it's about 9:30 at night, and the reason why we're doing that is we've got a 14-pound brisket over here, and we're going to be cooking this brisket for about 15 hours.
Wow.
So we're going to be entertaining some guests tomorrow. We want to start it tonight, let it smoke all night long.
Perfect.
Low smoke. We're basically going to cook it around 220 degrees. Let it just keep going. The big green egg, luckily, these things will go for 15 hours without refilling, without messing with any temperature control. They're great for that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first thing we're going to do is, as you can see, this is a 14-pound brisket. It's a USDA prime beef. There's the prime beef with the brisket is good. Brisket's normally fairly cheap, so a brisket like this won't run you too much money. First thing you want to do is go ahead and remove it out of the packaging. You'll notice with this brisket, it's got two sides to it. This side is the fattier side. This is the side we're going to cook up, so that we're actually going to score this. The nice thing about this meat is it's got a nice bend to it. And when you're in the store in a plastic wrap, you want to pick the meat up and see if you have a nice bend like that. If the meat's real stiff, it's probably too tough of a cut, and you probably want to move on to another piece of meat. All right, so why don't we start with the mustard. So we'll go ahead and basically take some of this mustard here. Now what I'm using here is basically a spicy mustard, and all you do is just basically really lather this thing. The purpose of this is basically to get your rub to stick to the meat. It's just kind of a trade secret type thing that's not too much of a secret, but you get it in there real good, and then now we're going to go ahead and add a blackening rub on this particular piece of meat. And you want to be really liberal. I mean, just really cover the meat with rub, and this is going to get a nice barky flavor crust on the outside of the meat.
And that's what you want. I mean, to me, you need that crust.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways that people like to cook this meat. There's another way where you can put this meat in a pan and basically let it cook in the pan. You'll get a little bit of a more tender cut of meat, but you're not going to get that bark that people like when they're cutting into a brisket. So really load it up. And go ahead and pat it in. Again, the mustard's going to help all of this rub really stick in there nice. Just kind of recoat it a little bit where you lost a little from patting. Now this side is done, so we'll go ahead and flip it over. So we're going to take a knife. We're actually going to cut into this fat.
Okay.
We're going to come all the way up through here, and we're going to kind of checkerboard this thing out. The reason we're doing this is the fat's going to prevent the flavor from getting into the meat. So we're basically opening it up a bit to where when we're putting the rub in, it's going to get down past this fat layer and back down into the meat.
Okay, okay.
At the same time, leaving the fat on is going to give a little more flavor to the meat when all the juice is running down on top of it.
Perfect.
You just pretty much got to score through the fat, and then you're good. We'll add one more here. One more down here. Okay, now we want to load this thing back up with some mustard, so go ahead and just throw it on there, and I'll spread it around. And I'm using a spicy mustard on this side. On this, it's going to give a little more tang again, being that it's a spicy mustard. Okay, so now we'll add some rub down in here. If you can open up that sweet mesquite for me too, we'll put some mesquite in this.
Nice. A little variety here.
Again, when you're doing this, you can use whatever type of rub you like. Apple wood rub is really good. Maple rubs are really good. Hickory smoked rubs, all different types of rubs. This one's going to be a little bit of a blackened type rub. It's going to be a little spicier on the outside, on the bark. A lot of people like it real sweet, so it just depends what you like.
And what are the ways you can serve the brisket? What's one way you like to present it, or just slice it up and put it on a plate?
Yeah, I really like slicing it up and putting it on a plate, but another way you can do it is just basically slice it up and put it in a nice hoagie roll. You know, a French roll of some sort or a sourdough roll.
Gosh, it's a shame we got to wait 15 hours.
Well, give you something to dream about tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and open the grill and load it up.
All right.
We're cooking this at about 220, so we don't need to burp the egg. It's already cool enough. We should be good to just throw it on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, like you said, you got it fat side up, and it's going to stay like that the whole time?
Yep, so we're gonna leave it on the grill just like this. One thing we'll do is, if you could take the temperature probe, Jason, and just go ahead and stuff it in about right here.
Okay. Kind of want to get into the thickest part.
Yep. So this temperature probe here, we've got 2 temperature settings. One is the actual temperature of the grill. The other temperature is going to be the temperature of the meat. We've got a remote sensor, so we're able to watch it from inside the house. We can set it to where if it drops below a temperature or gets too hot, we can go ahead and have an alarm set off, and it should be good about midday tomorrow.
Nice. I'm going to close it up.
Yep.
We'll go catch some Z's, and we'll see you in the morning. All right, everyone, it's the next morning, and Brian's going to tell us a little bit about what he did to our brisket here. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning getting ready to open up this thing.
Yeah, so it's been about 12 hours since we put the brisket in. Actually, I got up real early this morning and I split the brisket in half. The only reason I did that is we've got some guests coming over and wanted to speed up the cooking process just a little bit on one of them, being that it's such a big brisket.
Yeah.
You know, some of it, we need to make sure we're ready here by 1 o'clock for our guests. So with the brisket or any type of smoking, when you're cooking between 220 and 240, you want to cook about an hour and a half a pound. So a brisket like this at 14 pounds, that's really a 21-hour cook.
Wow.
So when you're doing these, you know, if you have something that big, you should split it, cut it down to whatever, you know, proportion size meat you can actually handle and deal with.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and just move these over a bit. We've got a turkey we're going to be doing here shortly, so we're going to make some room here on the grill to go ahead and set our turkey in here at the same time.
Oh, man.
Now again, big advantage with the extra large green egg.
Yeah.
Look at how much room we have. We got a 14-pound brisket in here, and we got room to set a turkey on top of that. So let's go ahead and shut her up and start preparing our turkey.
Nice. All right, so Brian says it's ready. What do we got going on here? Okay,
so our meat's reached an internal temperature of 195 degrees. Let's go ahead and take it out and see what it looks like.
Oh, can't wait to try this. Oh, Brian, that looks amazing.
Let's put it over here on our cutting board. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and slice our brisket. We're going to cut it against the grain here.
Oh, wow. It's amazing.
So you can see it's got a real nice kind of crust on the outside. It's got a nice little smoke ring going on. You can see some of the smoke ring in here. Okay, let's go ahead and just add some of this barbecue sauce on here. Use whatever barbecue sauce of your choice.
All right.
Let's go ahead and add some of this homemade coleslaw right on top.
This one's mine, right?
This is yours. All right, here's your sandwich. Enjoy.
Nice. I know you guys are jealous, but I got to do this.
How is it?
Fabulous.
Excellent.
Brian, thanks so much for sharing this recipe and taking the time to cook for us. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for watching, guys. For more simple and delicious recipes, click on these links. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.